Welcome. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. I would love to see all of you. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're visiting. Give me a wave. I'd love it. All right. How's everybody doing? So I'm going to give this like the last 2 minutes. We're going to start right on time tonight, and we're going to kind of get settled since I think I might be on a topic tonight that's just like my happy place. I love talking about the sky when it's lit up and it's giving us some indication of some energy that's happening. So it's nice to be able to see your happy faces here on the days that I get excited about teaching on it. We're going to talk about, because it's always it's timely, right? It's timely when we're experiencing things, and then we can kind of equate it to the entire energy of the grid and the planet and universe and what's happening. So it's timely that it's happening, and when it's happening and how it's showing up for all of us. So that's kind of cool. And I get excited since then it matches the how we're feeling to what's, coming at us. So all right, guys, one more minute. Oh, it's right on the mark. Let's see what we've got going here. All right, let's get started. All right, guys. So welcome. It's so good to see all of you. And we're right on the dot. We're right on 6 o'clock. So I'm going to get started, and we'll shimmy from there. I got a lot to share today, so I want to get it all in. If I'm choppy a little bit, I'm going to leave those of you who are on the Zoom end of this call to log in on the chat window and chat me there, and just throw at me a question, and it'll come up into the chat window to me, the panelist, and then I'll be able to see it. So kind of keep up with me there. If something pops up, throw it at me right away, and we'll kind of roll from there. All right. So those of you who are here tonight, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody on Facebook. So good evening. I'm Dawn Thompson. Those of you who are newbies, welcome. And we are in the Truth Tribe, and we are here to speak truth, the universal truths, not my truth, not your truth, but just the truth of the universe. And when that shows up, we have to open ourselves up to what the bigger truth is in life, what the bigger truth is taking place for us. Why are we here? What is the reasoning? What is the purpose? And so within this Truth Tribe, I want you all to kind of get a little bit more clarity on what you're doing, why you're here, why you're engaging in the universe. What is the universe here for? What are we even doing on this planet, watching the current status of our planet, and how do we engage differently? So that's my goal. Okay. So tonight, most of you saw the topics, but tonight we're going to talk about full moon. Full moon is in Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius, so I was like super happy about it. Although when you guys find out what it did, some of you are on my Instagram and social media. And so some of you did see that a little bit of the details of what this Aquarius full moon is about, but it's a real big one, guys. And so I'm going to share some of that. And then skeletons in the closet. That's kind of the theory and the theme that's happening. So we're going to go from there. All right. So again, as I start all these calls, I'm sending you all love from the grid every day. When I go up on the grid and I go into the source and I go into my guides and I say, all right, what do we need help? What do we need to kind of embark on, and where are we going from here? So I go up there and I just literally pour love down to all of you, and hearts just blanketing with you. So know that someone is loving you. I love you all, and I want you all to know that you're all perfect. That is really important to me when we do these calls, so that you're not hearing when I bring up the kind of chilly, uncomfortable stuff that there's something wrong with you, because they're not. You're perfect. So in asking my guides today for understanding, today is shadows or surfacing. And how do I elaborate this? Shadows are surfacing for integration, and they're surfacing for integration that may look like theirs. So the shadows that are surfacing may look like theirs, and I mean theirs out there, those people that you all know what I'm talking about, but they're actually yours, okay? And so every time a shadow is surfacing, we have to kind of talk through that, and we're here to learn how to integrate that energy and to adapt. And so we're here to feel wholeness, and when we integrate our light and darkness, we start to pull them into flow, right? And the goal is to learn how to start flowing. And so in that being said, let's start off on the full moon. All right, so I'm going to start off on the full moon. Adjust this a little bit here. We'll go from there. Sorry about that. All right, so full moon. Luckily, it's helping us big time with this happening. Now, all those other planets we've been discussing up to this point are not gone. They're not exempt either. So the cool part is the full moon that is in Aquarius today. It was at 9 a.m. this morning. Those of you who know your charts or know your information, it is at 11 degrees of Aquarius, and it was there at 9 a.m. full 100%. All right. And so every sign, as I teach you guys a little astrology every night or every Monday, is every sign has its ruling planet. And so every sign that has its ruling planet, Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus, and it's a fitful planet, all right? And so it's sunbursts of energy, and it's a constant in and out, and it's intense, right? And so being that we're dealing with this in and out energy of Uranus and its ruling planet of Aquarian energy also serves another purpose: to awaken your soul's energy. Your soul that I teach all of you, it's in here. That's what we're working on. That's what we're growing. Not out there, in here. And those moments when Uranus comes in and bam, and it like knocks us off or pushes us off or wakes us up, that's the goal. So I love it that it's happening. It's just sometimes we don't like how that happens. All right. And so when things shake and rattle us, it causes us to see things in a new light, right? And to feel differently about ourselves and the world we live in. So this can trigger awakening, right? And a coming kind of like to new knowledge and beliefs about ourselves, because we have to see it differently, because it kind of knocks us off kilter. So when this happens, Uranus is also ruling energy. Uranus is energy like around Kundalini energy. And if you don't know what Kundalini energy, it's the energy that runs through the force field of your spine. It's spinal fluid. It's God, divine source energy. Without the spine connecting all of you to the brain and to the heart, you wouldn't be you. You wouldn't have, you'd struggle, right? And so when you activate Kundalini energy, it looks like serpent, right? It's seen as like a serpent energy. That's what it focuses on. And it basically lives at the base of our spine. And so some of you may, with this energy getting kicked in, might be feeling a little inflammation or feeling back stuff flaring up or triggering. Don't get all alarmed. Just know that it's kind of waking you up to kind of get your back opened up. And so if you think of it this way, when a snake is ready, like to shed its skin, right? it's beginning new. It gets rid of the skin, and then it begins the new, like the snake on the medical staff. I'm bringing that up, right? Because medicine is up for grabs right now, again, getting shaked and rattled. So like the snake on the medical staff, it represents healing and transformation wrapped around the spine, your spine, and it's awakening our health by releasing the dead skin super abruptly. So whatever it woke in you, woke up in you, that's what we're going to pay attention today, and that is the skeleton. And so when our Kundalini energy, and I'll call it spinal, connectedness energy, starts flaring up, and it rises as it does when we're under the presence of Uranus and Aquarian energy. And so when the snake uncoils itself to be tight and it releases itself, the energy travels up the center of the body, all the way up through the top of the head and beyond into the universe, connecting you to oneness, wholeness, completeness, the dark and the light. So that's what's happening. And so when we can all activate this energy, right? This awakening, shall I call it? Doesn't need to be a full Kundalini awakening, because those aren't always fun. We can activate awakening under this energy by setting an intention and tuning into it. So what I wanted on this full moon was for you guys to set the intention on this. All right, set the intention of fullness and of who we are and of what you want, right? So this isn't something that, this isn't something that we can force, right? But it's something that we can allow. We can open ourselves up to saying, what is it that I came here to learn? All right, this is such beautiful energy to tap into, you guys, and it's one that can advance us further on our path of our soul's truth. Okay, so this truth in here, not that truth. And I have to keep reminding you, because that's what I'm bringing up tonight of what's going on. So helping us remove and let go of things that no longer are meant for us. Most of us know when it's time to let go of something or someone, but you also know that it's not easy to do. It can be very hard, right? So the shakeup, and I don't care what you're letting go or who you're letting go of, it doesn't matter their title, it's still hard, all right? So the shakeup from this full moon is going to help us gently let go and remind us that we don't need to hold on to fear. We just need to go, right? And so this moon is asking you all to clear the way. It's asking you to shake up your beliefs, your ideas, your circumstances, so that you can see what needs to remain, what needs to stay, and what needs to go. That's Uranus energy. So under the Uranus full moon, it's better to let things shake and then just fall off, rather than trying to control which one you're going to let go of, which one you're going to hold, which one you're putting here, which one you're going to organize. All right, that's what's really valuable with this moon, because it's in a strong alignment right now. Okay, and so I want you to think of it from here's the sun and here's the moon. All right, and we're in this strong alignment, and so we're in this full moon, and then they're square. And the moon right here is in a square position to Uranus, its own planet of Aquarius. So it's in the sign of Aquarius and it's square. So it's putting pressure on all of you to go, don't hold on to it. So whatever's dropping away, let it. We're in this super strong square alignment, and opposite Aquarius will be Leo. And the sun is in Leo right now. And so there's a big strong square going on right now that's putting pressure on all of you. And so my suggestion is, all of you, when I call them skeletons because it's the stuff you guys don't want to look at, right? We'll talk more about it in a second, but I just wanted to make sure you all understood why we're all feeling this kind of like either what just happened or why it's overwhelming or why this happened, because it's going to come up. All right. And when it does, it's going to come up and it's going to say, hey, what do we need to understand? What do we need to get more control of and not let go of that? Oh, I got to get control of that. No, I got to let it fall. Okay. So write down what you're holding in fear. What thoughts, what beliefs, circumstances, what are you gripping onto and holding on to, try to control that? People, experiences, and go on the moon, maybe tonight, if you're in a place where you can see it, look at the bright sky and look up to the moon, or even sitting in the house, just imagine, you can see this moon illuminating everything. Ask for it to bring you wisdom. Ask for it to send you ancient messages. So remember, everything's karma and you're playing out your karmic loops. So it's up to you to do what you need to do that you came here to learn, which is chemistry class. As you've all been in the last courses, in the last calls, I've talked to you about what class is hard for you: relationships, health, wealth, family, children, friendships, career, spirituality and intuition, mental health, psychic ability, intimacy. That's the chemistry class. For me, chemistry was hard, and those are the classes I have to keep taking. So what is it that you are having to ask? Send me a message to straight into my being, into my Kundalini space that says, show me where to go. How do I let go of that and show me where to go with this light? Open yourself to the downloads. Open yourself to the messages that you receive. Trust your gifts. Trust your intuition. And then be patient and start to move and shake, because it's going to happen. You're going to start moving and shaking, and then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my world is getting shaken upside down. You can. I'm preparing you. If it hasn't already in the last week, you got it happening today, or it will happen in the next 6 months. Okay, so as we shake, we let go of the things that no longer are meant for us. And you're going to clear these things out that were weak and crumbling anyway. All right. They were already there. This is just helping you. And so after the pieces have landed where they may, we might feel renewed. You're going to feel restored. You're going to feel awakened with greater knowing of who you are and where we need to be. Your truth. Okay. This is setting all of us up for the next 6 months when we have this stellium. I'm going to call it a traffic jam of planets are going to push into Aquarius. And when those planets push into Aquarius, I want you to be open to what you shook off right now, so you're grounded and settled for this newness that you're walking into. You've set yourself up into this future endeavor, this mindset, this belief. Okay? So that's Aquarius right now. That's what full moons are. Now let's acknowledge what full moons are. Closure. Why are they closure? Because I want you to think about, remember I've taught you guys this, when it's dark outside and it's not a full moon and there's really a sliver of a moon, if any at all, on a new moon, you don't see everything very easily because it's super dark, right? It's super dark out and you can't see much. Well, now a full moon comes out and illuminates everything in the dark. So things you couldn't see before, now you see them. And they get illuminated, and you have to look at things you didn't want to see in the past. Full moon, illuminating things, shadows, skeletons you didn't want to see. Okay, so it's asking you to put closure to that. Now let's talk about the skeletons that it's showing you for you to see. Okay, all right. So let's talk about skeletons in the closet. This is what spirit source, this is what I keep downloading. I like thinking it's something else, or thinking it's something else that we're supposed to be focusing on. And it's that, all right? And so skeletons sound negative, right? It sounds like negative, like it would be bad. But even as negative as this sounds, they're really referring to them as anything, your skeletons are anything that embarrasses, pains, insecurities, creates fear. Those are skeletons, right? Those are your shadows. Those are the shadow work a lot of healers and spiritual leaders will talk about, doing the shadow work, the stuff that's in the dark, okay? So I want you to remember that even a small shadow that does show up, it's still going to surface, right? And so yes, you all have them. So those who are like, oh no, I'm good, I have none, I'm calling bullshit. Total bullshit, because you're all getting it, you're all surfacing, and you gotta look for it right now, all right? So yes, you all have insecurities and you all have pain. And let's remind you from last call, all pain is pain. So just because your pain looks different than someone else's pain does not mean it's not painful and it's not showing up, okay? So quit trying to subject yourself to other people's bullshit. It's not yours to own. And that's a big thing that's happening all over right now. It is not your party to attend in hopes of avoiding your own. That's what's happening. And so skeletons are you know, it's like, it's reminding you of your karma. That's really what it is, okay? It's skeletons aren't about you did something bad and now you deserve this bad in return. That's not karma. I've taught you all that. Karma is completion. Karma is, I wasn't good at this class probably for 50 lifetimes. I'm really bad at chemistry. I know I bring chemistry up, but fun seems to be one of mine. I like to work. I like what I do. I like my life. I'm such a nerd when it comes, and I love nerd. Nerd is a very positive status, right? But the point being is that I love knowledge and wisdom. And so I forget to just let go and go have fun until I'm like, oh yeah, there's that. So as odd as that would sound, it's still a thing. Okay. And so skeletons, when they show up, are your karma. And karma doesn't show up to piss you off, but it does, right? You've come here to chemistry class to learn some lesson. It might be emotion class, relationship class, all those things I've offered you. The challenge is that when they come up, none of you are getting out of this business anymore. And I want you to know, if you're awake, consciousness, if you are consciously opening your eyes to everything that's going on inside of you, and you're making conscious choices about who you are, what you want, where you want to be, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, every time you do lose consciousness, just for a sliver, and you dip low on that consciousness scale that I've showed you all how to look at, you're going to feel negativity every time. Okay? And this is good. This is a good thing. And this is why when you start to go down there and these shadows showed up and you're like, oh no, I don't want that. Why is this good? It's because they remind you of joy that I don't want to go back there. And it reminds you of the joy that you want to leave and not go back there. You won't like it for long. So when these shadows appear, they don't need to stay there. They're just saying, by the way, do you remember me? Do you remember you're not good at this? Do you remember you don't like this? Can we complete it? But when you do, and you see this stuff surfacing, this is a big thing that I want you guys to kind of start wrapping your brains around. You cannot attract or hang with people who are not in some small way vibrating at your energy resonance. You cannot be in the same space with other people and or situations or environments unless they are resonating somewhere near you, okay, or your consciousness. If you reset yourself immediately, let's say you start feeling dissonance with someone, you're not feeling connected with them, right? And you separate yourself out again, that's how you're testing it. You're like, ooh, I don't like that. And you push back up to a conscious state going, no, I want to be courageous and loving and willingness and neutrality, which I teach you all, right? So you'll immediately feel that dissonance, that disconnect. And so that's where I want you guys to separate yourself out again. No, pull away. It's a wake up. No opinion, no seeing consequences is why it is present. You see it and you're like, no opinion of it. I'm just going to move away. And so I've had many people have inquiries in this week. They're asking me, how do you integrate your expanded consciousness, Dawn? So I'm trying to be every day. I'm trying to be, neutral and courageous and accepting and forgiving and optimistic and trusting myself, trust in the universe, right? I'm trying to do this. How do I integrate that with those who are not at the same frequency? So if you raise your consciousness, I want you to be ready to release your opinion of pain. Your opinion, because that's all it is. It's an opinion. Because what you're seeing is, or what I'm getting from people is like, oh, what if they're melting down and they're destructive and they're angry and they're hurtful and they're shaming me? Or what if they're so uncomfortable to be around? I don't even believe in that, right? What if we're in the same social circles? What if they're family members? I can't get rid of them. What if I keep attracting negative or victim mentality in dating and the people I date? But I'm not a victim and I'm not negative, right? What you see is your class, an easy class or a hard class. It's chemistry, right? It's either easy for you to take or it's not. It's easy for you to adapt to or it's not. So seeing it once is different than repeating it daily. Those are two different things. Now, if you're repeating this let's say difficult family member, or, you know, dating negative people or victim prone people over and over and over again, it is your karma. That is your chemistry class. That's what I want you to guys look at this. So seriously, guys, I want you to start opening your minds. It's so simple. If you remove titles and opinions, okay, would you still hang with that group of people? That's what people have been asking me, like, how do I take and be loving and open and unconditional and compassionate and neutrality, be neutral, and then deal with that mess? If you remove the title of it or your opinion of it, would you still hang out there, or would you experience it once and bounce back up to the top of the consciousness scale? My answer is this simple, right? Can you observe it and accept their vibration, or do you absorb it and try to correct their vibration? It's a big deal. And this is what's happening all over. We're all having to auto-correct, and that's Uranus going, do you like it? No, 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 get out. Fast and it's intense, it's fitful. I don't like it, get out. I don't like it, get out. It's constantly letting you in and out of things to figure out where you want to get yourself into the future, where you want to throw the dart, okay? So I know this is a hard task, but it's going to soften your life view on others and their resonance, okay? Let them stay there and you exit the closet, your closet of skeletons. Okay, those of you waiting for, how shall I say it, rainbows and unicorns to reappear, to come back to this rainbow and beautiful, magical land of joy. Aquarius is saying, integrate into one consciousness if you want that, because what's happening right now is about freedom from your shackles. And you couldn't see them, but now they're here. Right? And so your talents will integrate with your triggers so you can start living your truth. So those triggers were always kind of hidden and shackled you and made you feel like you couldn't move in those certain areas. And now that they're out and about and they're real and they're forcing you to look at them, they're saying, hey, we've got to integrate the light and the dark so we can come whole in one, right? And that's kind of organic rainbows, shall I say, instead of you forcing it, looking for it. Where are they? Why are they not happening? One consciousness is everything. It's your light and your dark. It's everything is one. Everything you see is you. Doesn't mean you're there all the time, but if you can see it, acknowledge it, and pull out of it, you've still become one with it. You just don't stay there and become misery and commiserate with the negative Nellies or the pain or the misery, whatever it is, okay? So everybody asked me this, right? And I want to just say, like, when the skeletons are surfacing, or and again, a lot of people call this shadows, your shadow work, right? We are basically, all of our closets have opened. I want you to imagine that you went to your bedroom and you opened the closet. Now imagine the planet and all those closets got opened, and now it's appearing in everyone's life what was stuffed down back in the corner. All right, so there's no closing this door. It's opened, it's surfaced, and you cannot avoid it. So it's pushing it out of the closet and having you front and center with you, for you. And it's appearing in the external world, which is why I started this call with that you're watching and you're seeing it on a screen, and you're seeing it, you know, in companies and in medicine and in politics and in families and friends and in you, right? And so the ones that you're judging are only images of your own skeletons. They're helping you integrate faster. They're helping you yin and yang faster. And that's not something we all want to do because it's hard. It's surfacing for all of us to integrate flow, learning to integrate that light and dark aspects of your consciousness. And when you go down into the dark, and I'm calling it dark because I don't really find the forced aspect of dark, it's just uncomfortable, right? Because dark is not bad if you see it as power. Dark can feel bad if you resist it, if you resist its value as a big part of you. Dark can be a big value. I see this in people who are over givers or over generous or over over nurturing and over helpful, right? And so they think being aggressive or assertive or having boundaries or restrictions in stopping from overgiving of themselves, that would look bad. Being tough and strong and confident in your decisions and your truth might sound a little restrictive to other people, and they might not like that. That would seem bad. It's not bad. It's great. Okay. So I want you to remember that your reality is always based on your beliefs and the stories that you tell yourself about those beliefs, right? So if you have beliefs that are not supporting your truth, that inner truth, the personality truth, maybe the astrology truth, you want to look at on a map, you can see your truth right there. We've talked about that. You will reject the very parts of you that you dislike in others. When you see in others what you dislike, you're going to reject that, but you desire at the same time. And so that's an important piece that I want you all to start paying attention to. So if you lack the inability, think of it from this perspective. Oh, well, I see in someone else and I don't like it in myself. Is that really true? Because someone will go, I'm not that bad, right? If you lack let's just say you lack the inability to speak your words, right? You're not good at speaking your words to other people. You're not good at speaking truth to other people. You won't like aggressive, blunt truth talkers, or you'll belittle that truth talker because you'll make them seem like, oh, they're so aggressive and rude, right? Maybe you're a person who's not good at taking responsibility for things. You won't like those who encourage you to make your own choices. You'll want them to make it, so you don't have to own it, right? Maybe you suck at receiving, and that's the yin and yang. So you might be very masculine and very yin or very yang, and you don't receive, so you'll reject those who project their expectations on you. Maybe you suck at wealth. You're going to resent those who have it. Maybe you have no faith, right? You're going to reject those who have unconditional faith. You'll judge it. Maybe you're very control obsessed. There's a lot of those, right? So you're going to attract free spirits who want you to loosen up your shit. It's that simple. It can go on and on and on. If some of you have some, throw it out there. But think through this. I want you to think what you're attracting or what's irritating you. So what irritates you in another person is for you to see your skeletons. Okay? So some people are irritated with others who shine too much. Isn't that crazy? Oh, you're too kind. You're too pretty. You're too nice. You're too everything. You're too this. And my point is that makes them uncomfortable because they have to look at their beauty inside. All right. So I'm sure many of you have heard this recently or in some times, oh, I would never, right? I would never do that. I would never say that. I would never let my shadow or shadow beast bully another to make them feel the same pain I feel, right? And that's bullshit because you all do it. We all do it. All right. So someone asked again if I could repeat that. What is irritating you in another is for you to see your own skeletons, right? So some people are irritated with others for something they're doing or saying. Let's just say someone's yelling at you all the time. You're irritated for them you're irritated with them for yelling and being aggressive and using maybe like aggressive words all the time. I'm just using voice right now. It's a big thing of people speaking their truth, okay? So someone's yelling at you or being angry or using abrasive words with you. This would be one. And you're saying, you're bad, don't do that. The boundary is fine, but acknowledging in them, someone's actually coming out and trying to speak their truth. Now, are you good at speaking your truth? They may fumble at it. It's not up to you to judge how they're actually doing it. And so what's irritating me in someone else, is it the language they're using? Maybe you're not questioning the language you use. Maybe you think it's soft and gentle, but it's maybe critiquing and critical. So the critical matches the abrasive. There's your skeleton matching the mirror that they're showing you. Okay, so I want you guys to be very clear when you see someone doing something, you go, I would never, you're doing a version of it. Or you can let it go, right? And so I want you to remember, it's those who are willing to see it right now will raise their consciousness, will raise their vibration. You're going to raise your resonance of where you resonate. That's what's important. Okay. So how do we integrate these experiences that you're having resistance with, and these flare-ups that we're having with others? Because that's what's going on. People are frustrated, like getting in arguments and aggression, and all this aggressive behavior is showing up, right? So how you do anything is how you do everything. So someone's asking on this topic here. Okay, so is critical and abrasive matching is what matches verbally abusive? Yes. Because we think we say a criticism gentle would be this, that's not even close to saying a big and abrasive and loud. Same thing, right? So we have to consider going, maybe I do present that way. Theirs is just looking different. Well, if it wasn't that big and abrasive, it wouldn't get your attention to look at the skeleton, to open it up and see it. Okay, so it doesn't make one right or wrong. Nope. Just makes you getting their attention. And so in this scenario, I'd say, like, be quiet. Learn how to let it sit out there and let it surrender and let it bring to you the message instead of critiquing opinion. Okay, we'll get more on that in a minute. How do we integrate these experiences? So how you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm talking how you look at your politics, how people in your life, destructive events, personalities and places, experience. None of these are exclusive, by the way. They all have consciousness that they resonate at. So I want you guys to make very, very understanding of this. Everything is consciousness. Every cell in your body, every bone in your brain or in your body, every cell in your brain, every thought that you have, every city, every world, every little organism is a consciousness, and it has its own consciousness state where it vibrates, okay? So think right now, I want you to think of what or who is your biggest thorn right now. Is it your health? Is it a person? Is it your wealth? Is it your environment? Is it your location? Is it your children? What is it? I just want you to think about it right now. What pops into you right away? And you know that skeleton's popping up because it's a thorn in your side, right? Now I want you to look and I want you to see what that skeleton is reviewing for you. Okay, and whatever that skeleton is reviewing for you, I want you to look and say, okay, what is it that this skeleton needs to show me? Okay, so I'm going to pull up the hold on, guys. I'm going to pull up this consciousness grid for you real quick. I'm going to show you guys the grid real quick. Let me share my screen. And so if you guys were to look at this, and you're looking at this map of consciousness, okay? Now that I've showed you the map, I want you to look at this map and everything having a consciousness on this planet, even a person, even an illness, even if you got that nasty virus, even if you really didn't get it, but you got the flu, or you got a cold, or you got, you fell down and scraped your arm, or cut yourself open, or whatever it is, headache, okay? From a health scenario to people upsetting you, everything on this planet that you experience has consciousness, and everything is revealing its consciousness to you right now, okay? So no matter what room you walk into, what group you engage in, or topic that you discuss, it's going to hold consciousness that resonates with or against yours, period. Stay or leave, period. That's it. So if you're down here and you go, oh, you know what, right now, I'm really just, I feel anger or despair or hate or anxiety or regret. Right now, I'm just apathetic and despair. I don't feel good. I haven't been feeling good. I'm really disappointed. So the question is, do you want to stay here? Or is that energy going to come back up here? Go back up to the people that you don't like. When you look at that person that you don't like, do you hate them? Are you scorning them? Are you putting blame on them? Are you humiliated to be around them? Are you ashamed? Are you ashamed of yourself? Are you afraid of something? Are you afraid of losing someone or something? The second we surrender all of this energy out and we let it go and we push ourselves back above this line to 200, minimal, just have the courage to go, I have to trust and affirm that it's going to be okay and get myself to neutral. Just trust. That's where I'm trying to get all of you. So when you visualize what this looks like and you're looking at all these little ecosystems that you're all around, okay? These little ecosystems of scenarios, of communities, of experiences, of families, and you look at your family, you have this brilliant, amazing, awesome family. Well, clearly you're like, no, I have the most neutral, trusting, willingness, optimistic family. Then they're vibrating at a very beautiful high consciousness or a love. What if you have a family that vibrates at anger and hate? You're going to have a hard time with that if you've been doing all this work with me. So I want you to imagine all these little ecosystems going on all over outside of you, like little garden bubbles. Imagine that, little bubbles with gardens in them everywhere, right? And so some are only growing flowers, some grow only weeds, and some are cohabitating with each other. Some are having both, okay? And so sometimes an invading energy is going to appear in your life once in a while. And when it becomes destructive, only when it becomes destructive and wants to multiply, it starts invading your peaceful, loving energy of that family or that town or that city or that world or that planet. Okay. And that's when the system gets cranky, this little environment. Okay. And when this little garden, let's call it the ecosystem garden, gets cranky, that's when you have to remove the disruptor from the ecosystem or just not attend the party. So you're either going to walk out into the destruction and go, well, I had to go see, and you got hurt or injured or in some sort of destructive state. That's on you. You walked into the party. Okay. Harmonic flow is what we need right now to heal. You need to integrate the things that you fear with the things that you are talented at, and become whole and divine, source, God energy. When you're surrendering to becoming whole and yin and yang and flowing into masculine, feminine, up and down, yin and yang, in and out, that's when you start seeing the difference. Okay? And so this is something that until you address your shadows and your skeletons will want others to dance at the garden party with them. So it's not like they're not feeling alone and they're not feeling ganged up on. Thus, you're watching on social media, everybody gang up on people because they don't like it, but they're embarrassed or they don't want to see it. They don't want to do it on their own. So let's get others to gang up on you as well, bringing up the excess of itself to overpower. So you either have it in you or it's destructive self-talk in you as well that you've ignored for a lifetime, or you're immune to it in others and you're just allowing weeds in your external environment and it's just kind of evading. So my point is, either way, it's tripping your system up when you allow this. So the question is do you want to hang out in these ecosystems that are tripped up? And yes, someone's asking, can the party be different within the family and then each member? Yes. Someone's asking, is each member different? Yes, because each member of a family or of a company or of an organization or of a city, each has its own consciousness level. So one person very high up on the consciousness level of scale that's worked really hard and want to raise themselves to neutrality and willingness and acceptance, just imagine they're at 350. And then someone comes in this environment who hasn't done any work. They're open to it, but they haven't done any work. And they're down at 50, at apathetic and despair, and everything sucks and it's terrible and I'm miserable and nothing's going to change. And I'm going to focus on all of this anger and hatred because that's where I feel comfortable. Well, you are going to irritate the crap out of them at 350. But still sticking at 300 means, I'm going to let them be where they are and won't bother me. Okay. So yes, everybody, every scenario has an ecosystem and an energy and a field and a consciousness, and either you invade and you get into it and you want them to feel crappy with you, or you leave them alone and it's not your party. So this is whether you attract or you witness aggression, anger, hatred, control, blame, humiliation, guilt, shame, and the pride that's coming at you. That's all low consciousness energy. Okay. So how much attention you give it is how much you resonate with it. Do you feel like you deserve it that's coming at you or not? What I'm trying to teach you guys is you are not them. They are just mirrors, not your party. And if you go to the party to stay, it means they're all mirroring you together and you're all hanging out in a mirror party. One of those like mirrors, those little mirror, when you go to the fair and you get to go into the mirror house and everything is all the same. That's what it looks like when you're at this party of commiserating or cooperating. It's kind of cool because you can just look at it and go, that's me. So all of your paradigms, all your beliefs, all your programs that are in here are getting squeezed out. So I want you guys to imagine that you're a rag and you're getting squeezed out when you squeeze the water out, like a wet rag, okay? And this rag is your consciousness. And the drops that are getting squeezed out right now are the number of weed-infested skeletons that you are releasing. Doesn't mean they're good. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means I don't want to feel crappy anymore. I don't want to feel destruction and despair and fear and grief and apathy and shame and humiliation and craving. If you don't feel good, stop trying to crave to feel better. Just go to a loving space and love you. You'll feel better soon. But instead of forcing it, you have to allow it, right? So the goal is to get you to a dry rag, squeezing yourself and getting all the drops out and thinking, I don't have any more, because I get this a lot. No, I've done all the work done. I don't have any more. I do this for a living and it's coming up for me too. So this is something where it's like, you can't just go, oh, it's not there. Okay. So you're being given pressure from the moon and all the planets to clear out all unconscious energy. And unconscious energy means you're not present for what's happening, right? Events, experiences, conversations, they are not here to hurt you. Okay? These experiences that are happening to you are not to hurt you. Are they? They're not good. They're not bad. I want you to think of it this way, okay? Is this action or experience that's happening serving me now? Okay? Right freaking now. That's how you got to ask yourself. Right freaking now, this thing that's happening, is this serving me? Not last week, not last year, not next year, now. Okay? And if not, simply find your way to courage and neutrality. Courage might be what I just explained, walking out the door, giving it time to calm down so they can bring themselves back up to the 200 level of courage. But being down there with someone, they're just bragging you into their misery, and then you're asking, is this okay? No, no, it's not okay, but that's on you. I respect all of you guys, right, of every choice that you make, right? The choices that you make are choices, right? And every choice that you make has a consequence. It's that simple, right? So I need you all to understand what this Aquarian full moon is basically waking you all up to, this hot and cold Uranus energy, in and out, fitful, in and then out, right? There's no right or wrong game anymore. There's no good or bad game anymore. There's no left or right game anymore. There's no Republican Dem game. There's no us and them game. It's not you or me game. That game is done. I know you all want to see it. They're all trying to push you there. They are better than me game. And I'm no. It's gone. It's up to you to raise your consciousness, to understand and have the courage. It's up to them to stay at their party, and you either leave it or you repeat it. So it's all about consequences. What are the consequences? What will the consequences be with this choice? The choice to stay at this destructive party, the choice to stay at this destructive relationship, the choice to stay in this destructive conversation, the choice to stay in this destructive mindset. Mindset's a big thing that's coming up, right? So if I have this long destructive debate with my sister on low consciousness hatred topic for the next 30 minutes, what will be the consequences? Y'all know the answer. You can't tell me you don't already. You're like, oh, I know where that's going to go. This long destructive debate with my sister. That's going to be fun. Leave the party. Let it calm down. Let the energy dissipate, okay? And so what if I make this post, this this stimulating, let's call it stimulating post on social media, what will be the consequences? You already know by posting something what the consequences might be. If you're okay with it, post away. If you're not, be cautious of what you're going to get in the end. Are you dragging people in for drama because you're looking for that? Because you're in this I need attention phase, right? That's a big deal. They know if it resonates with your choice that you have a desired outcome. You know this. And I've been receiving a lot of questions on this lately, so that's why I'm bringing it up for all of you. They're coming in on health, sex, cheating, bullying, most of all respect. That's a big one that's come up, okay? So the question is like, these are the labels, right? What I just shared with you. This is the choices that they made, Dawn. So if you do this, then it's bad and you lose respect for these people, right? That's the question, okay? Let me repeat, there is no good or bad. There's only consequences for your choices. So if you make a choice, you better damn well be ready for the consequence you're going to get and stop blaming everybody else for the choice you made. So you can't wrap your brain around someone else's actions. Stop and ask, is their choice affecting me right now? Then make the choice to engage or exit. Okay, so it's as simple as this choice was made and this was the consequence. Will you join the party? Okay, that's kind of how simple it is. So let me address the question real quick, and then I'm going to jump into what's coming up on questions, and I'm going to give you the tips that we covered tonight. So we have about 10 minutes. So if they're vibrating at a lower frequency, though they may not understand you, don't you have an obligation to try and lift them up? If nothing else but a kind word or words of reassurance. Are you obligated? No. Is that your opinion that you think they need to feel better? No. I'm going to be very clear about this, guys. If you don't have pain and you see someone in pain and you don't have to let them have enough pain to move to get somewhere else where there's less pain, you fixing that pain is not going to help them. That's enabling. And that's a hard thing to deal with, right? And so what I want people to understand is quit trying to have an opinion about someone's pain. They might not be in as much pain as you think they are. So her question is brilliant. It's a very good question because she's very empathetic. She wants to fix it for them. And my answer is no, no fixing. But her final portion of the question was even a reassuring word. There's nothing wrong with saying, I believe in you. Good luck with that. I know you're going to do great. But to step in any other version is trying to change someone's consciousness, and you will never do it. You won't do it. Because I've seen this so many times, and you can walk in with this positivity and they're like, no, I don't want to, I'm not in a good mood. I don't want to be in a good mood. We've all done it. This sucks. It's never going to change. The next day they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better because the energy dissipated and they could make the choice on their own. So you cannot choose for someone to raise their consciousness, and you cannot choose for someone to get them out of pain, but you can believe in them to get out of their own pain. Absolutely. And that's what encouragement and reassurance is I believe in you, but I can't fix it for you. What can I do to support you to do it for yourself? Those are the better words. But telling them what they're doing is wrong, showing them this consciousness scale and saying, you're in this place. If they're not saying, I don't understand how you're so happy. If they're saying, I don't understand how you get to this neutrality and courageous space, like, how are you doing this? Then you have an opening to say, look, this is what I've learned. I'd be happy to show you, but you're going to have to make a choice. So the consequence of pain is better next time. You won't be in pain because you'll make a better choice. Can both parties, if I didn't answer that, Tanya, just ask me again in a different, like, give me the last piece of it and I will keep answering. Hopefully I answered that clearly. Can both parties in a relationship work on changing their own perspective for a higher, healthier frequency? That is the hope, Jamie. The hope and the joy of two people being conscious together and working on consciousness. Now one will dip, and this is where Tanya was coming in and saying, hey, can you reassure them? Yes, remember, you know how to get out of there. You did it before. That's right. And they come back up and you might dip and then come back. The challenge is that those who stay here and you trying to grab them and pull them back up, those people don't want to move because it's too uncomfortable to get up here until the pain is good enough to push them. So yes, can two people, both parties? Absolutely, they can if they know they need to. You have to understand we've been on a planet that has been so programmed into heaviness and darkness and avoiding and pushing our shit and skeletons in the closet. Don't talk about it. Don't say anything. Don't act like it's there. Don't act like you have any problems. Don't let anyone know. Let's numb it with a pill. That'll help. Did it fix it? No. That's what I've talked to several people this week about addiction, and the same thing came up. Addiction, taking the drug or the thing or the whatever you're addicted to is not the problem. It's the emotion that you're avoiding and that you keep trying to numb. That's what you're addicted to. You're addicted to numbing the avoided emotion. So feeling is fabulous. The pain is fabulous. I want you guys, as sad as this is to say, I want you to be in pain because it'll make you move. And when you move, that's when you're open. Pure acceptance with love is very hard, Jamie. But what I'm trying to teach you all is I don't even need you to accept. What I want you guys to understand is have no opinion or title. My point is if you had no title and let's just say a family member's being, for lack of better words, being an asshole, right? You don't need to have an opinion whether they're being an asshole or not. The present moment right now does not feel good, so exiting the building until there's another opportunity would be your best choice. You don't need to accept it. You just need to not have an opinion on them being a bad person. You just have to have a choice to say, what is the outcome of me staying or not staying? That's simple. Doesn't mean you're gonna leave forever. It just means you need to give things time to dissipate. And when people are in their own pain and you're not joining the party of pain, the pain party we talked about, it starts to show them where their own pain is present. Let them heal it. That's what we're here for. That's what the planet's doing. That's what this beautiful full moon is doing, allowing you to release it. But if you don't look at your own and you look at someone else's, every time you judge someone else from having problems or pain or just whatever their restrictive nature is, that's your own skeleton you should probably be addressing and not theirs. Leaving them alone will help them heal it on all levels. Now, I'm not talking about when someone's sick and they need attention and love and nurturing, but you still can't fix the wound. You can't go in there unless you're a surgeon and cut it out, but you still need to allow the wound to heal. You still need to let them and their body and their energy and their consciousness do the healing physically, mentally, and spiritually. There is no other option. Okay? So let's go over the tips real quick for tonight. Tip number 1, what thoughts, beliefs, people, circumstances are you gripping onto right now, or have you been? Okay, write them down. What are you holding on to out of fear? And then that is for the full moon today, through the day, right? I want you to write it down and then I want you to burn it on a piece, put it on a piece of paper and then burn it and release it to the moon. Trust God and the universe will deliver the release of this. Okay. Number 2, this might be part of this, which is write down the skeletons that you see surfacing, like who is flaring them up and what you can do to fill it up with power. The challenge is that the power aspect of the consciousness scale is high, right? And so shedding your skin right now, it's all about you. Stop focusing on other people's bullshit and integrate your own shadows. Because what looks like theirs is yours. When you're obsessed with people's problems and their negativity and their destructive thoughts and behavior, you probably got some of that going on inside of you. If you're obsessed about that. Right now, if you're just open to, you're like, well, this looks like something, it's interesting, and you can let it flow. It's not in you, it's just observation of a situation, a choice, okay? So again, what looks like theirs is yours. Unless you're keeping it, if you're keeping, I gotta acknowledge it. Then number 3, consequences. What are your choices, and will you accept the consequences without blaming others? Because remember, blame on the consciousness scale is a whopping 330 points on the consciousness scale, by the way. It's not a powerful energy when you blame people. And so if you think of the consciousness scales like this is source God energy, enlightenment. None of you will ever get to 700 to 1,000 on this planet. That's Buddha, Jesus, higher divine spiritual beings who have walked on the planet. I don't think we have any here right now. That's high consciousness. And until you really truly separate out from your attachments and things of opinions and titles and right and wrong, and if you can truly walk through a room and complete destruction's happening and it doesn't affect you, that's how you know. And it's very rare you'll get there. This is lifetimes, guys, which I started with karma. This will take you 100 to 500,000 sometimes lifetimes. Sometimes you have had 500,000 lifetimes. I know that's hard to wrap your brain around. Hard to wrap your brain around. So if you can comprehend this, if you're blaming anybody right now, I want you to go within and go, I got to raise my consciousness up myself and stop worrying about other people. Okay, so tonight I'm going to leave you guys with this one question. What skeletons or shadow have you been focused on outside of yourself that's actually yours? I mean, and it can come right down to fun. See, this fun thing kept coming up for me. And then my husband and I were talking about like what each blessings were, what we liked in the other person that they helped us learn. And I was like, ooh, I bring up his like cavalier, like just relaxed attitude and like trying new things. And he doesn't really plan a lot. I'm like, oh, I wish I could be more like that. I wish that's a thing. Like, oh, I don't know. I never have that. Well, that's incompletion. I have to be more like him. And he laughs. He's like, honey, you don't want to be more like me. And I do. So the point being is what I am frustrated at where he's so relaxed and cavalier about things. It's really me wanting to be more of that. The question is, what skeleton or shadow, which would be an insecurity, pain, whatever. The question of the night is, what skeleton or shadow have you been focused on outside of yourself that is actually yours? And tonight you're going to, oh my gosh, that really irritates me or frustrates me or I'm disappointed in, and I really got to put that inside of me. I've got to complete that karmic loop for myself, not them. Okay? So, guys, I just want to remind you all that are on this call, we're at the end here, unless you have any more questions, that don't forget that Expansion 2020 is still available on my website, ideserveitnow.com. Just go to the All Events tab. Everything that's happening, I am launching a Spiritual Warrior course that's coming up soon. Ooh, it's going to be fun. That's happening. And so it's going to be all this spiritual stuff kind of enlightened all in one course, as well as all the things that I'm offering, live coaching, private group coaching, all that truth and transformation, which is TNT coaching, all is getting launched. Well, it's all there it's all on the All Events tab. So if you just go to ideserveitnow.com to the All Events tab, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I have always put a ton of stuff on there, but last but not least, follow me, subscribe, tip the bell, and go click on the bell on my YouTube channel, because all of these are getting broken down now to mini courses or mini topics. So if there's a topic we talk about and it's that topic that you like, my assistant is breaking them all down for you guys to remind us of which pieces are important that we can re-listen to. So they're tips and topics, and they're getting posted once a day. So you'll get reminders if you just go to YouTube and click on the bell, and it'll send you reminders every day of a new one that's coming up, as well as replays for the Truth Tribe. So if there are no more questions, remember, I believe in you. I love you all. You all are capable of overriding this, but the party you are attending, if you do not like it, it's either address it or exit. It's that simple. Those skeletons are ready for review and release on this amazing, beautiful full moon. If any of you get to see it, send me a picture, because we're kind of cloudy here for whatever reason, and I doubt I'm going to get to see it tonight. So if you get a picture, I'll take one. I would love it if you're in an area where you can see the full moon tonight, because I'm an Aquarius and it's in Aquarius, and it's kind of a special moon for me. So yeah, I was just told that the fires in LA are making it cloudy here in Arizona. So if you're anywhere where you can see it, I would love a photo. Please feel free to send it to me. I'm wishing you all brightest blessings. Have a great night.